We got it going. This is entrepreneurship in action right now, figuring it out. So we've got Dave Ramsey here, and I'm so glad to have you with us today because we've got so many issues in the landscape for small business owners. And I want to get into one of them with you right now because it's been affecting markets, and that is we had the debt downgrade last week from Moody's on U.S. government debt. And I've been asking some of the folks at this conference what they make of that. But you're the debt guy extraordinaire. When you look at that issue and what's happening with government spending and debt, how do you think about that?
Well, I don't think it affects the people at this conference that are small business people very much, other than it might affect their attitude or their belief in the overall strength of the economy or the strength of the U.S. government, that kind of thing. But a guy that's doing heating and air, a guy that owns a veterinarian clinic, it didn't affect him a dime.
No.
It hadn't changed anything. He's still got to go to work. He's still got to do his thing. The problem with stuff like this is it causes people to take their eye off of their business and worry about a bigger thing.
Okay.
And so from a small business perspective, that's what we run into. But you're right. Of course I hate debt. And of course I would love it if we could Elon Musk the thing all the way down to where we actually
And you like what Elon Musk is doing so
anything
far.
to balance a dadgum budget. I mean, I'd love a balanced budget amendment. I live in Tennessee. We have a constitutional amendment in Tennessee, a constitutional mandate to balance the budget. You don't have a choice. You have to do it. And I think we ought to do that, or we ought to fire everybody that won't do it. I love the idea.
Okay, so here's a guy who wants to do something with the debt, but let's talk about it where it might hit, the rubber might meet the road with small business owners. You got this tax bill going through Congress right now, and that is a big deal, I know, for a lot of the folks here.
It's huge.
And the spending and the debt and spending cuts are all part of that conversation. In fact, that's what's holding it up maybe a little bit right now. When you look at that tax bill, in what ways do you think it's very critical for the folks here at this conference in small business?
2 years ago, a little thing called Section 179, which is an R&D write-off, went away. It cost, in this room of 3,000 businesses, billions of dollars in this one room. And nobody talks about it because that means that they have their actual tax bill went up under Biden dramatically. Like a guy sitting in here that's got $1 million or a $2 million business, his tax bill went up $100,000.
Wow.
It was crazy. And that means he can't hire people. And so it affects his ability to grow his business because he's having to send the money to stinking Washington because those folks their job is to govern haven't done their job. And so there's stuff like that that's in this bill, and they're not even it's not, the way it's written today, it's not even retroactive. It doesn't even go back. It ought to go back and pick up the 2 years and let us file amended returns to get our dadgum money back. They're not even going to do that. They're finally going to start it in 25 finally. But that's one little tiny thing. Those are all in there. So when you let the people of the land who make the money keep the money, good things happen. Instead of sending it to Washington.
Do you want to see, it sounds like this bill could come to a vote in the House by the end of May. Does that have to happen?
Please.
So these guys who are fighting, the folks fighting about it, the guys talking about salt cap deductions and all these sorts of things, what's your sort of message to them from small business owners in America?
Do your job and get something passed that lets us keep our money. It's pretty simple. And because it's all this political infighting that's absolute BS at the end of the day, except for these massive things like, again, just governing. This idea that we love small business in Washington is the absolute load of horse manure. Because these guys in here will tell you they spend half their lives and a lot of money just trying to keep from getting the snot beat out of them by Washington.
Yeah, we talked about red tape. Some people call it blue tape because of where it comes from.
Yeah, amen.
Such a big issue here. Let me throw into the mix tariffs as well and trade, because that's been a big issue in the first part of this year. I've been talking to some of the folks at this conference. They're not a worrying bunch. Nope. They like to solve problems, but as you talk with small business owners, and I know you have about the tariff issue, what's been your message to them?
I think, when you're facing any kind of stress or trauma, the best thing you can do is remember facts are your friends. And facts are what has actually happened. Not what might happen, not what someone said on a news channel would happen, but what has actually occurred so far, actually in your pocketbook, actually in your product line. Did you actually see a real increase, or is it all theory? And if you'll worry about the things that actually happen, you can cut your worries way down.
Okay. Planning is one of those things that small businesses do. They try to look ahead. As you look ahead into 2025, do you see the landscape for small businesses getting more favorable, less favorable? Where do you come down on that?
Well, I mean, if Congress will do their job and pass this bill or some semblance of this bill and let us keep our money to hire people with and grow the economy, that's how this thing works. And if you can get the tariff thing smoothed out where you've got a predictable environment.
Yeah.
It doesn't even matter what the tariff is. What we need is a predictable environment to exist in. If I know this is what my cost is, then I know this is what my price is. Or I know I can't make it in that country anymore, I need to make it in a different country. And I've got to reset my resources.
Right.
And so all I need is a predictable environment, and then I'll pivot and I'll exist. It's the unpredictability that kills business in general,
right,
but it's devastating to small business.
Yeah. This is one of my favorite places to go every year, to this summit, because there is so much enthusiasm and joy and hope, and there's builders just walking the hallways of this conference center. Talk about your hope for this conference this year and what it means to the folks who come here.
Well, you're right. There is something in the air, and I think what you smell is freedom. The small business person represents the free enterprise system, which is the best example of freedom in America today, where so many of our freedoms have been taken away by cancel culture, or they've been taken away by this or that. The small business person is a person who just decides one morning they're in business, and then they go do that. Right. And 54% of the domestic product, gross domestic product, the GDP in America, is 500 or less team member small businesses. They're the number one employer, they're the number one source of new jobs, and they're the number one position in the economy. Wow. I mean, so yeah, we all need for these people to be hopeful.
That's right.
We all need for them to be energized, for them to be well-financed instead of, Washington being a parasite on them.
Well, I got to tell you, the hope is just like coursing through the veins of this place. And a couple of small business entrepreneurs right here solved those technical difficulties, David. We got that interview done. We're going to send it back to you before anything else happens here. Thanks, sir.